Oh, good Lord, I feel like I'm preparing for an interview. Um, as you can see, I don't have well, if you are watching this, YouTube, Instagram, many thanks. If you are listening to this, thank you for joining Living the Life of Kylie, an eclectic mix podcast. I called it an eclectic mix podcast because I don't really know if I fit into any, or I didn't, I should probably say, know if I actually fit into any particular category of thing, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not a lifestyle guru, I'm not an influencer, I'm not a, health and fitness expert, I'm not a mum. Well, I am a mum. That's not what I meant. But I meant I'm not a mum lifestyle, hashtag look at these clothes sort of thing. So I really wasn't sure where I would have put myself in a category of podcasting, but I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I had something to say, I had a message to give. I know a lot of people in lots of different circles with some amazing stories, and I thought it would actually be wise for me to be that sort of centre point. Everyone's got their own story to tell, everyone's got their own line of expertise. So I launched the podcast in February, and then I kind of just forgot about it and put it on the back burner and lost interest, lost confidence. I set up the whole thing. I've been paying £20 a month since then, and it's now December the 2nd, 2022. So I think I needed to take that time because I didn't really know if I had anything in particular to say. I set up a networking group a little while ago for single women in business, single mums that were launching their own businesses, not just single mums, actually, anyone. And that absolutely flew. And then I forgot all about it again. So that's very much one of the things that I tend to do. But I didn't want that to be the same case for this. So I launched it and just didn't do anything about it. This is the first time I'm recording anything and I am papping my pantaloons. But I'm doing it today because today is a very important day. This is probably one of the biggest days of my life, of my personal life, ever. So I feel like now I finally have a reason to share my story, a reason to be quite raw, be quite open and honest. I know that podcasting is very much about your own story and your own experiences, but I think this really explains a lot. And when I've been speaking to people and I'm like, oh, this is what's going on, they're like, oh, well, I could have told you that years ago. Well, thanks for that. You could have saved me blooming years. Where am I going with this? So my story is quite a fun one, but it's fun to the point where everyone else thinks it's fun. It's not fun for me. My friend said to me, her wonderful mum, Shirley Shells, and all the twelves, is a occupational therapist. And, she's known me known of me, I would say, up until about 4 years ago when I moved into Jen's property, sort of just from afar. And it was about 2 years into me living here that she said to Jen, I think Kylie might have, she's showing signs of ADHD or like bipolar. And as soon as Jen said that to me, and bless her, she took a long time to build up the courage to say that, because if you can imagine saying that to someone and they're going, what? That's just the way I am. It's just my personality. And then it could cause all sorts of offence and things like that. But as delicate as she was and as amazing as she was, she said that to me, and I remember exactly where I was at this moment. I was stood at my kitchen sink. Now, I only stand at that kitchen sink very rarely because I hate doing the washing up, and if I can avoid it, I will do. So it's very poignant that I was actually stood there listening to a voice note from her where she actually said this, and it was almost like, and it's very cliche, that light bulb moment. But when she said, oh, I just wonder you've actually considered you might have ADHD or bipolar. It's not bipolar. It is actually just been diagnosed this week as full-blown ADHD, or as I like to call it, ADH. Now, as you can see, I'm recording this today because I want to be able to document how I am, how I was when I look back in 6 months' time and see my progress, because I don't want to forget. What was I saying? Hold on, I was saying something about Jen then. Yeah, I was saying, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. And I'll go off in this way and I'll go back to that way. And then in a minute, I'm going to end up talking about quiche or something. So with that conversation, I then went and researched, and she sent me through some links, and it was like someone had written a list about me, and it was quite a surreal moment. It was almost like, when, people go, oh my God, I feel seen. Oh my God, did I feel seen? I was probably the most visible person on the planet. It was like someone saying that there are other people like you. And for 34 years of my life, although I like to pretend I'm 27 every year, this being the 7th year of being 27 this year, many thanks, I actually felt for the first time that actually there's a reason why I'm like this. I'm not like this just because I'm a dickhead. I know that I've said that to a few people. I'm not like this because I am a dickhead. I'm not like this just because, I can't sort my life out, because I can't think from one second to the next, and because I'm really messy and I just like it and I just like living like this, and I forget appointments and I forget what day of the week it is, and I forget where I've put Arnie's shoes, who's my son, who's 8, when he's just taken them off, and now I've lost them. It's not like that because that's just my I just fancy living that lifestyle. I just really prefer being unorganised. It's because I didn't know any different, and all I've ever done all my life is struggle. But you don't know you're struggling until someone says, oh, actually, you're showing signs of ADHD. You just think this is normal. You think everyone's just as busy as this, in their head and in their motion and in their lives, and doing from one thing to the next, and impulse buying, and they're not just going to Poundland with £5. If I go to Poundland, I've got £5 in my bank account, I will spend 89. It's literally as cutthroat as that. And then I'll just go, oh, that's all right. Oh, that's all right. Oh, it doesn't matter. Because I get so much enjoyment for that split second of going to the till, bagging up all my sweets and my, blooming toilet roll holders and my chicken soup maker that's in the Tupperware box of 5. And I don't need any of that stuff. But because I don't release those dopamine levels anywhere else within my being, I have to go and find them elsewhere, and they're short, sharp bursts of happiness. Which then explains perhaps why I am so, well, actually it does explain. When I had my first consultation on the 23rd of November with this amazing lady, she did explain to me that although I am suffering with ADHD, I'm suffering with a really high level of emotional, psychological trauma that is having a massive impact on the ADHD. So it's almost like I'm in like a cog, like 2 different cogs, and one turns the other and one turns the other, and I just can't get out of it, because without one I won't have the other, and they're both what I'm used to. So I will go into more detail with that at some point, but I wanted to really document my journey from this point forward. I can talk the hind legs off a donkey about, not that would be very nice, cruelty to animals, it's not my thing, wouldn't really be as erratic as I am now. I mean, I can see how erratic I'm being. I'm probably sounding at this moment. I've got 1,000 different things going around in my head at the minute. One of them is, are you sure you really want to be sharing this? And yes, I am. I am sure I want to be sharing this. I set up a tiny weeny little Facebook group on my personal Facebook. I sort of said, oh, this is what's been going on, and I've had a really lovely response from so many people, but also so many people that are actually in their 30s saying, oh my God, that is the same as me, I've just been referred. But unfortunately the wait list where we are in Kent, and obviously up in London, actually all the way around the blooming country, is, you're looking at 3, maybe 5 years, and that's not something I could do. I was very lucky to have my parents. Once I explained to them what the symptoms were and what, it was supposedly going to be diagnosed as. See, I can't even get my words out. Once I'd realised that, and then I was able to speak to mum and dad, it's almost like they were able to go and do their own research and go, yes, it makes perfect sense. So I went through like a really bad time. I think part of it was, oh my God, that's amazing. I feel like I've been awoken from this dark, gloomy doom of, nothingness, which I just accepted as who I was. Why can't I do this? Why can't I just do this? And the frustration was so much more than I even gave myself credit for dealing with. I just accepted it. But once I'd done that and I was able to explain to people and I was able to do my own research, that only took me so far. That was fine. I knew that. Good. Got it. Sorted. Right. That's exactly what it is. Weeks would pass, would go into months, and having that knowledge alone wasn't enough for me. It wasn't changing my life. It was almost giving me an excuse. I was almost going, well, it's the ADHD. It's the ADHD. There's nothing I could do. It's just me. It's just the ADHD. And as much as you can forgive yourself, you still aren't getting stuff done. You're still not living life. You're still not actually, you're just existing. You're just in stagnant water and you're not able to get out of it. So I had like a big old episode and I just wasn't able to cope. I just couldn't. It frustrated me more that I had this absolute clear as day diagnosis in my own mind that everyone could see, but I wasn't formally diagnosed. So it just sent me into an absolute spiral. The overthinking started, the hoarding, the impulsiveness, the compulsiveness of being obsessed with, buying, receiving deliveries, not being in control of my finances, those quick, sharp, snappy dopamine hits. My drinking escalated beyond, and I was forgiving myself for it because I was like, it's the ADHD, it's the ADHD. No, it isn't. You can just try and start taking control of this now. And I did. So, but that was only because of mum and dad. If it wasn't for them, I'd still be very much stuck in the system. I found a fantastic company, and it was I don't know why I'm talking to you about this now because I'm going to go into it later. But anyway, it's £685 for the 2 consultations, which is far cheaper than I'd found anywhere else. Some of them were like £1,250 and then £200 per consultation after that you have to have every month. And that part I think is quite standard, but the initial price was just like, no, essentially. So I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And then I just came back to mum and dad and I was like, no, we need to do this because it was affecting my life. It's affecting my son's life. It's affecting my social life. It's affecting my friends. My family are obviously very much aware, but it was just getting too much. So I did the assessments and I'm pleased to say delivery by DPD. Oh, hide the address. Actually, if you want to send me any gifts, prizes and money, please feel free to do so. If you are listening on Spotify, send me a DM and I'll send you my address. Oh, hello, look. It's a little, oh God, oh. Toot. So I had a call this morning with my wonderful friends Patrick and Randy, and they were saying to me, if this works for you, amazing. Embrace it. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. There's always going to be other options, other ways of doing it, other ways of coping. It isn't like a life sentence, but, to be able to acknowledge and take control is actually something which is, good, I think. So I said, right, well, my medication is at home. I've spoken to a few people in this Facebook group who I've invited, and they are all very much showing the same signs of the ADHD as myself, going through the same struggles. They've been referred, they're waiting, they're stuck in the system, and it really isn't there is no, in my opinion, I don't think there's anyone to blame for that. Just perhaps that our generation was so lost. And when I mean generation, the average age of a lady to get diagnosed is between the age of 36 and 38. I think that's the time when perhaps our levels sort of level out. Perhaps we get into motherhood, we get into like perhaps our careers, and we are so used to existing on that high functioning anxiety that we don't know any different until people start going, actually, let's try and see things differently. Let's try and work a different way around it. Let's try and see if we can help you. And by helping you, I think it needs to be done in a X, Y, and Z way. What was I saying? Do you see what I mean? You see? And this is why I wanted to document it, because this is one voice that you hear. This is the one voice. And if you're still listening, 15 minutes, 50 seconds into it, if you're still listening, thank you, because I can't imagine this is easy to follow. I can't imagine. I bet some of you must have just turned off and gone, whoa, let's just, listen to that on slow motion. Or maybe just read the transcript. So thank you very much if you are still listening. I'm exhausted, but I'm going to unbox this medication. So it was sent to me directly. I've never done unboxing before. God, I'm such an influencer. Okay. It does say thank you inside. Would have been nice if it was a bit more personal. Oh no, it does say my name. Hi Kylie, thanks for this, blah. Hashtag. Right, so these are called Alvance Adult. They're 30 milligrams. They are advice for drivers, see leaflet inside. God. So, interestingly, I know that the Tommy and Georgia baby steps, or Georgia and Tommy baby steps, I can't remember how it goes. My mum was watching it last night and she said, Kylie, you need to watch this. It makes so much sense. And the experts. But I was already watching something on Netflix called Take Your Pill. And it's actually all about performance enhancers and the effects on people that are taking them, like for help with studying, help with sports, and gaining so much success, like submitting a paper as a B, but that if you took performance enhancing drugs, that they'd actually get an A. Like, to me, I'm like, what how does that even make sense? I would neck a Red Bull and think that I'm doing all right with coping at life, not just, I'm not the most academic of people, but you never know, I might be now. Einstein. Right. Okay, important things you need to know about your medication. Full name for ADHD, yes. The medicine helps you with your brain activity. It can help improve your attention, help you concentrate, and make you less impulsive. I've just come back from Sainsbury's. I bought a jar of olives, a jar of pickled onions, a jar of pickled gherkins, 3 instant microwave rices, some cat food, and a £20 Habitat footstool that was in the sale from £40. So when you talk to me about impulsive, I might be able to agree with you. Right. Tell your doctor straight away if any of the following happened. Your mood or how you feel changes. But isn't it meant to be making me change the way I feel? You need to have other treatments for ADHD, such as counselling and behavioural therapy, as well as this medicine. Oh, I love how they think I've got time for this. When am I going to be able to fit that in? Right, hold on. Right, all of this is pretty standard, I think. Then we look at side effects, what you need to take. Do you think I've got my glasses anyway? I'm going to have to do it like this. I can't read. Right. People with ADHD find it hard to sit still and concentrate. It's not their fault. Oh. It is not their fault. They cannot do things. Oh my God, I can't even see. My eyes are so bad. However, ADHD can cause problems with everyday life. People with HD may have difficulty reading, apparently, working, learning and relationships, and have low self-esteem. Right. I don't think I've got low self-esteem. I feel like I'm quite esteemed. I perhaps have probably a heightened sense of esteem because I'm trying to overcompensate for perhaps something that I am a little bit insecure about. Now, I'm only saying that for the first ever time. I don't feel insecure. I'm not a jealous person. You know, come and go, not bothered. If I'm in a relationship and it ends, ciao mein, I'll see you later. Not bothered. I don't come calling back. I'm not interested. I'm not always looking for that reassurance. When the psychiatrist was talking to me, she was like, yeah, that's probably part of the emotional psychological therapy that we're going to need to be talking to you about. Because I am very animated and very up. I'm very, yes, da, 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 very happy all the time. But she said, but you're not. And I was like, well, I am. I think you'll find I'm actually a very happy and consistent person, young lady. I am happy. I just find it rude when people aren't happy. And she was like, yeah, that's not normal. But I was like, no, it is. She was like, no, that's learned behaviour. That's how you've learnt to mask it. You think that if you are happy, people will like you more. If you're high energy and, you know, high and full of life and excitement, people will like you more. And I was like, yes, because who would like to be friends with someone that's moping and down and negative and miserable? And no one. Well, not me. So she said, yes, but you're overcompensating because you can't naturally generate those lows. God, where did I go there with the accent? Those levels of dopamine. Those. Oh, Norman Wisdom came out of me then. Oh, because I can't regulate those levels, I almost have to pretend. And by pretending, I overcompensate. And by overcompensating, I burn myself out. So, you know, if we went on a girls' holiday. It was my best friend's Hindu years and years and years ago. And it was so much fun. I had the very best time. But by the time I got back, I couldn't talk. I had no voice. I had no energy. I couldn't do anything because I'd physically and emotionally burn out all of my levels. Because it takes so much to artificially create this energy all the time. And people would be like, yeah, well, let's get Kai out. She's loads of fun. Great. But they don't have to sit with me for the next 4 days while I'm desperately trying to get my voice back, while I'm suffering with tonsillitis, because I would burn myself so low trying to entertain and be happy and trying to make, you know, lift other people, that I would be leaving myself with nothing. The nothing is the level that I had anyway. So it's been quite an awakening time for me to actually recognise that and look back all the way through my childhood and be like, yeah, I was like that. Perhaps because I thought if I wasn't like that, I wouldn't have any friends, or I wouldn't be accepted, or things like that, really. So it has been quite a trying time. Now, I know I need to eat with this, because if I don't eat with this, Jen is going to kill me. She's like, oh, have you got any food? I was like, yes, I've got olives, pickled onions and gherkins. So you just, you know, chill yourselves. It says I need to swallow the capsule whole with a drink of water. So this decaffeinated Diet Coke probably isn't... Oh, no. Oh, yes, it is. Decaffeinated Diet Coke. Other brands are available. It's probably not the one that I should be drinking it with. Open the capsule and empty the contents into... Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, you can empty it into a yogurt or a glass of water or an orange juice. No, I don't like mixing food, thank you. So, this is a amphetamine. So, when I'm buzzing off my tits on the school run at 8:35 of a morning on a Wednesday, don't come at me, because I need to take it in the morning. And apparently it stays in your system for about 14 hours. So, buzzing, I think, is what we're going to do with that. I am also on antidepressants called venlafaxine, 150 milligrams of that a day. But I'm not depressed. And this is why, one of the reasons why my doctor actually gave me the referrals, because she said, okay, well, we can start weaning you off them. And I'm like, no, I don't need to be weaned off them. I need to be given something else. I need a diagnosis. I need, because this is not. The only reason why I'm on these venlafaxine is because of the night traumas I get. If I forget one, you know, ADH, if you forget to submit your prescription on a Thursday, the medication still isn't ready on the Friday, surgery is shut on a Saturday, Sunday, you get it on the Monday. By the Saturday, I'm having severe brain zaps. My eyelids are sweating when I'm asleep. I'm soaking wet of an evening. The night terrors are that horrendous. They could be in an 18 film, 18 horror film, I should say. It is that awful. But they all also serve a pattern of the like recurring dreams and my biggest sort of worries and things like that. So it does all make sense. But they've actually said that the antidepressants that I'm on are actually leveling me out, but they're actually not doing anything for the ADHD. And I was like, well, I could have told you that. Let me just take the doctorship. I'll just prescribe everyone because I think I know what I'm doing. Right, this medicine may give a positive result when testing for drug use. Well, yeah. So let me just quickly, before I go and disappear and eat my olives. Right. No. See, and this is another thing. I don't know if anyone else struggles with this. Reading it, right. If I used to go to a restaurant and it was one that wasn't, you know, with TGI's or Nando's. Oh, right, well, that's gone. If it wasn't TGI's or Nando's, I would absolutely panic because I'd be looking at the menu and there'd just be too much. And I'd be just going, I just don't know where to start and I don't know. Well, do you want a starter? I'm like, I can't even think. I can't even read. This is just too much. And this is how I feel reading this. All of this. I think that's why people don't read the instructions for things. It's just too much. What they need is like cue cards. Just give me a cue card and we'll see what happens. Yes. Right. I was looking for the bit about driving. Right. If you stop taking this medication, the ADHD symptoms may come back. If you stop taking this medicine without talking first to your doctor, you should not stop suddenly. Can I even read? Right. Common side effects. Feeling agitated, jittery, nervous or irritable. What, more than we do already? Feeling unusually tired, restlessness. Unable to keep... Oh, I'm not reading that one. That's more for the men, I think. God, they should give me a warning before I start reading stuff like this out. Oh, maybe I should have read it first before I actually am reading it like this. Having mood swings, high blood pressure, difficulty breathing, feeling sick, constipation, weight loss. Get in. I've just measured myself. I know exactly how much I weigh now. And I'm just under the stone mark of something I'm not going to disclose just yet. So I'm at something 0.11, 0.4. So we will monitor that as we go on. Grinding of the teeth, talking excessively. Well, I haven't even taken the medication yet, and that's already a blooming thing. Feeling depressed, anxious, low, uneasy, dysphoria. But isn't that part of what we're being medicated for? Do you know what I mean? Being sick, metallic taste, changes in taste, fainting, high temperature fever, blurred vision, itching, rash. Right. I need to know about driving. I can't read this. Oh, I'm sure this is making really good content right now. Someone just reading a... Well, anyway. Well, I don't know. Maybe just don't drive. So, I am embarking on this. This isn't going to be an ADHD podcast. This is going to be a Life of Kylie podcast. That is my aim. It is an eclectic mix podcast. I've got some amazing people lined up. Bless them. They've been waiting for me to contact them for so long. They've all said yes. And I've just gone, okay, great, thanks. Disappear into the abyss. You know, we've got... some phenomenal people in there, you know, ladies who have gone through deep emotional trauma. They've come out the other side. You know, there's a childhood behavioural expert. She is insane. I love her. I listen to her all the time. And she's like Super Nanny, but she just gets it, which is like, I'm all about that. There's also, we've got drag queens, we've got hairdressing, blooming gurus. We've got friends of mine that are just going to come on and just talk about their own lives, because I don't think to be on a podcast you need to be an expert in your field of anything. Like, your story is your story, and you should be okay to share it with the universe. So I'm going to take this, my first ever 30 milligrams Elvancy, Fancies, Holly Valances, and I will keep you updated. If I start recording at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't been to sleep yet, then you'll know why. Thank you very much for listening. I am going to apologise for chewing your ear off, but hopefully, as time goes on, you won't be so exhausted by the end of one of my podcasts. I've been Kylie Weir. This is Living the Life of Kylie, 2nd of December 2022. Thank you very much. Ciao, Main.